there's like a rolling conversation, and I start the recording during a conversation, and then I roll an intro.
Like, let's roll an intro.
Yeah. So let's roll an intro. Hello, and welcome to the 888 podcast. Today we have my friend Dawson, and he actually created the intro and outro little clips that we play. Big thanks to him for that. I'm actually super appreciative. He made it in like 20 minutes, and it was fucking sick.
Yeah, I did.
Like
so bear that in mind. Actually, like, it only took 20 minutes.
Perfectly, exactly what I wanted, and really, I feel like it helps my format. With that in mind, Dawson, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
It's
been a while.
It really has. And because it's been a while, you've had a while to make some music. Yeah?
Yes, definitely. Quarantine definitely, with nothing else to do, just being creative and writing music stuck at home was definitely like a saving grace for me, something to keep me busy. But what's up?
What was up was my interest when I heard what I thought was vaporwave.
Vaporwave, all right.
Vaporwave. I heard seductive waves.
Yeah, that one's a little bit different.
Yeah, I
it's
kind of picked up a little bit of it, a little vaporwave vibe, and I was really interested. Yeah. I hadn't heard it in a while. I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit about kind of synthesized music, right?
Yeah, okay.
Like, because I know that you kind of lean on it a lot in some of your music. It's one of the things that you enjoy using. So, you want to go into a little bit about that?
Yeah, I definitely do use a lot of like electronic like instruments because all my music I'm just working out of my phone right now in GarageBand, and the microphone that I use, if you ever hear me play a live instrument, which I've figured out sometimes people can't even tell if I'm actually playing a live one or not, because the like software of GarageBand is pretty good at making a real sounding instrument. As long as it's not like a trumpet, they're not very good at that yet. No, but like acoustic guitar is usually me playing, and I'll use just this mic on these headphones. It's all I got right now. But yeah, I'd say that my like dream setup for recording, if I could make music the way that I wanted to all the time, would definitely be with a recording studio, live instruments, people helping me out with production, and me doing a lot of the actual performances myself.
Yeah. So how would you include the electronic sounds into a live performance?
I think that for like a live performance, or do you mean like a live recording? Like a concert or
live performance?
Okay. Well, I was in a band in high school. We had a couple of different names whenever people would go in and out for graduating. It was the Problematic Printers for a while. We've been Just for Fun since. And we had a couple of live shows there during the first summer that we were around. A guy in the town that we were in who is big in the community and has a local band kind of took us under his wing, so he helped us get a couple of gigs even at like festivals. So that was really fun, and I got a taste of what that was like. Now for that band, I was just the drummer, so that was more of what it would be like to be a traveling musician, not necessarily writing the music and controlling exactly how it would be played on stage. So to answer your question of how I would incorporate electronic stuff into my music in a live performance, one of my influences that I probably definitely take after is 21 Pilots. I got to see them live, and the way that they incorporated electronic stuff into their performances was really cool. They kind of lead on it, not because they're not great musicians, but because they have to, because they're only a two-piece band, of course. You have the drummer and then the singer who may only be playing a bass guitar or a piano at a time. And I think that's definitely how I would incorporate it, just to help me actually be able to play everything if I didn't have a whole band.
Wait, so how would you actually do it? Would there be like an instrument that like, would it be like a soundboard that you would just like have
That I
a
would
video?
like play off of?
Yeah.
It would probably just be pre-recorded stuff that like somebody in a
Okay.
booth would be controlling, like takes that I've already done and are on the official like recordings. I would probably just play those, and then whatever I was performing on, say if I'm behind a keyboard during it, then it would be that main track but without the keyboard. Or if I say had a drummer with me, or if I had someone else, I'd say that track would just be taken out of the mix that would be played from the recording.
So have you ever done a live show?
Yeah, like not of my stuff, but like I was saying with another band, we did get a little bit of opportunity to kind of experiment with some stuff that we wrote together, and then also some stuff that like I would bring that I had written, or someone else in the band would bring that they'd written, and then we would add other instruments to it. But really the only place that we played any originals was one time at a nursing home, which wasn't really the target audience for the song. So it wasn't that great because you got to know your audience. But the other time was at actually like an open mic night, I think, at K-State. So that was pretty fun, just a really small audience that was very intimate.
Oh, so was that recently, or?
It was last summer, I believe.
Last summer, okay. So pre-COVID. Well, in COVID, do you have any plans of trying to do anything live? Have you ever thought like maybe live streaming performances or like on Twitch or other platforms?
I haven't really ever thought about doing anything live. No, not really, because for me, it's a lot more about me just loving creating it and then just sharing it on a platform because I can. I'd say it's not really about the performance of it. Like right now I'm in college, but I'm not a music major. I'm an art major. So like the plan in life is to, be a it's a graphic design degree. So to be a graphic designer and then kind of focus on music as a hobby in the background. And then if it takes off, which I know is like a huge if, because the music industry, you're probably not going to make it if you're, any one person. But if it takes off, then I'll see where that goes. I completely forgot your question. I'm like a politician here going on tangents. What did you say?
You're good. Let's talk.
Oh, I remember. Okay. I'm sorry I cut you off. I remember what your question was. Would I ever think about doing live shows?
Yeah.
Short answer, no, I haven't thought about that, and I probably won't.
Okay.
Like over COVID live streaming.
Well, I was thinking while you were talking about your graphic designing degree.
Yeah.
So is that? I have two kind of thoughts on that. Is two routes that my brain goes is one's video games and the other is like brand shit. Which route?
Yeah, like marketing, advertising, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the degree of having graphic design, you're probably going to have most of your luck getting like a job at a company doing that kind of stuff, like just the graphic design for that company, like web page design or stuff like that, or maybe in marketing to do designs of stuff, and then also doing maybe freelancing stuff on the side is what I've heard that a lot of graphic designers have to do to make money. So I figured I would get, the job with the degree, but instead of freelancing my graphic design, degree out to people to do work, I would be a musician on the side.
So are you ever gonna do music in college to like prepare for that kind of musician on the side, or?
I was freshman year last year. I was a music minor as well as an art major, just to keep music going. Because choosing between which route to take, art or music, as the job one, and which one to take as the hobby, the passion. Um, I chose the art one.
Right.
But basically, the reason that I quit the music minor was it was just a lot of work for me. It was basically being double majored, because when you're a music minor, first year you're taking all the same classes as a music major anyway, because you have to take the base classes, your music theory, your lessons, your ensembles that you're in, all of that kind of crap, and marching band as well, which was a lot.
You ever thought about just taking like multiple years more than it might take someone else?
I'm probably already going to have to take multiple more years than it's going to take someone else. I'm kind of dumb.
My bad, bro. That's all right. Me too. I had to drop out.
Big facts.
Now I didn't recoup any of those 15 credits that I was taking that I dropped out of.
Yeah, I dropped out whenever COVID started. So my second semester, well, I didn't drop out. I withdrew, but stayed enrolled for classes now for the fall because I wanted to come back. I just really was not vibing with completely online at home. It just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
So I get you. I understand that.
I dropped out pre-COVID.
I understand dropping out anytime, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you already, I was going to ask you about your recording method, but you described that, and it's pretty scuffed, to be honest. But,
it's pretty jank.
You got what you got.
It's pretty jank at the moment.
So Calendar Crosses is the first song that I heard that had lyrics.
It was the first one uploaded.
Right.
To the SoundCloud.
It's ballad, yeah?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Well, that's how I interpret it, and I might be misinterpreting the word, but I just kind of assumed any kind of like musical or poetic form of an expression of love is a ballad. Or would be called like a modern ballad.
Yeah.
How were you feeling when you wrote it?
Well, okay, how am I feeling when I wrote it? That's a good question. Because emotion and music, I feel like music is just that mode of transportation that people can use to feel an emotion or to project it if they're making it, to like communicate that emotion. And the way that I try and do that is to take my emotion or my feeling and then like, just try and feel it as I'm recording and interpret it into what I want it to sound like.
All right.
So I'd say what I was feeling during it is definitely what it was about. Just, it's kind of a story song. You can tell there's like a progression of like things happening. In the very beginning, it like references exes for both of us and like why they didn't work, and then like why we would work and stuff like that. So I'm definitely just thinking about that situation I'm in, thinking about how I'm happy that it resolved the way that it did, even though things were bad before, they're going to be okay now. It's basically your like story of the song is where it goes to, what I was feeling.
All right. I only had one note on Pandemic Blues.
Yeah, that one was
Uh,
pretty good. That was right in the middle of being so bored at home.
Yeah. All right.
What was your question?
It wasn't a question. Uh, Bebida Dulce.
Oh yeah, okay.
Why the Spanish name?
Uh, I don't know. Something about the guitar just made me feel like, even though it is like a metal string guitar, something about it just kind of gave me nylon string guitar vibes, which is kind of like a classical or like Spanish guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like questioning me about the names of songs usually can have either a lot of meaning or absolutely none. And that one is one that doesn't really have a whole lot of meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Except, well, I mean, it means something in English. It means sweet drink, and I chose that because I was experimenting with like sound effects, so like sampling different things to put into my music there, and you can hear like water being poured. So that's
Yeah.
why I went with that name, sweet drink. I also felt like it was happy, so it should be sweet drink, not bitter drink.
I like to say, good job on the grammar. It's in order.
Yes, yeah, that. I took Spanish in high school, so I could at least get that right.
Yeah. All right. So Clarity, by far,
Clarity, yeah.
my favorite track. Uh,
Yeah, okay.
I'm not 100% sure why. I think I liked the door opening and then the like rustling around, the like
Yeah.
pre-song noises that were incorporated. And then boom, super light, just strumming on. You said it was a guitar,
Ukulele for that one.
Yeah, I said the uke, bro. The uke,
uke, bro,
the
yes.
uke. It came in and it made me so happy. I started vibing.
Yeah.
It had lyrics, and it sounded like another ballad. You got to tell me about that. It sounded like so much fun.
That one was a lot of fun. And I'll start with a fun fact. You were talking about how you love the ukulele. I actually recorded that bit while I was sitting in the shower. Like the water wasn't going, I just recorded it in there to give it like kind of a reverb sound.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I started with the shower. So more on that to answer your question about what's the song about. The lyrics, I'll be honest, I'm not that great of a rapper, so you may not be able to understand all of them. But basically, it's about how I am so like bored and like depressed and like mind-numbingly bored during quarantine, and basically the thing that's getting me through it is talking to my girlfriend the whole time. So that's what the song kind of relates to. It starts off with me just saying I have a lack of clarity. I'm doing all these things to pass my time. I'm playing the guitar. I'm acting like a starfish, I guess. And then I'm like, I meant just like laying in bed by that one. And then I said, none of those things like help me out, but you do. And then the chorus comes in and it's like, I love you, this part.
Right.
And it's really fun. And then
Yeah.
the 808s come in, so it'll rattle your car.
Yeah. Dude, I loved it. It was.
I'm glad to know that me putting music out at least made at least one other person happy.
Yeah. And so, I do kind of want to talk a little more about the what is it, art major, because that is the direction you chose. Okay.
Right.
Why?
Why did I choose the art one? Okay. So I said this a little bit earlier, just about how I needed to choose between my two passions, which is art and music. and I said that the one that I chose to take as my degree would be work, would be my job, and then the other one would get to be more of the passion and the hobby and the thing that I keep for myself, not for work or like, sell my time doing it. And I felt that music was the thing that was more sacred to keep for myself, to do in my spare time and keep being able to bring me joy and just not associating it with work or like having to churn out stuff when I'm, not inspired and forced to compete so heavily in that industry and get burnt out. I just want it to always be something that makes me happy. Even if I like don't get famous or anything, that's not really what I'm looking for a whole bunch. But like I said, I'll take it.
There's a lot of other jobs in music creation than
that too.
like getting famous.
Yeah, so, not necessarily just being like a chart topping like musician, but other things that I think would be really fun, like making scores to movies. I've always thought that would be something awesome. Yeah. I'm doing a D&D campaign. I'm like writing one out, like a one shot right now for some of my friends down in Oklahoma, and I'm literally writing background music to like set the mood because I just love writing music that much. Like I offered to make you the like intro for this, like you didn't even ask me. I was just like, you're doing something creative. I want to make music for that. I love it, and I want to keep that joy. I don't want to make it be school that I hate or make it be work that, I hate. I want it to be just my passion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so that's a clear reason is why you didn't want to choose music.
Mm-hmm.
What about art gets you going? Or what about graphic design is inspired you that this is where I want to take my life?
I've just always loved art as well. Anything like, visual or auditory, music. I just like creating stuff and being creative. I was in my art classes all through high school, even though I needed only a couple credits, I'm sure, for it. I was overloaded on them for being in art every semester, or trimester, actually.
You only need one art class.
Yeah. But, it's just that art was my other passion. It was what I wanted to pursue because even though it may lose some of the stuff that's like special to me, if I have to, be at work doing it all of the time, I feel like I still want to be doing something that I enjoy and something that I love. And that was just a clear choice to me.
Okay. So, I actually haven't seen a lot of your work. Have you, like, since starting college, created kind of a portfolio of images? Like, what?
Yeah, a bit, definitely. You start putting your portfolio together first semester as an art major. I haven't done a graphic design class just yet. I needed to start. Well, actually, I had a start of like a digital design and intro class. So I have a couple of things made from that, but that was also whenever I withdrew from my classes, so I didn't get to finish that specific one. But everything else is just like other basic classes, basic drawing. You may do some painting, some 3D work, stuff like that. You learn all about art no matter what degree you're getting in the art field. So a portfolio is definitely building every semester, new works.
So you've never just like messed around on Photoshop?
Yeah, I messed around on Photoshop in high school a lot to make like memes or like weird images. Like I made a Wolverine, wear the Wolverine costume from X-Men, and like putting my classmates in weird situations or making fun of them somehow. So I guess you could say like I kind of intuitively got like using computers for like creating art like that. Photoshop, Illustrator we used, stuff like that. I've definitely used it before. The specifically graphic design stuff, not just like pen to paper.
So what are classes like today? Like, Do you go
where I am
into how many in-person classes do you have?
now. In-person classes, I only have one that I actually have to come in for.
How many do you attend? Like a week?
Um, I'm on like the bare minimum of classes right now since I was working pretty hard. Last semester I was taking a little bit of a break, so I only am enrolled in 4 different classes right now, which is 12 hours, I think. Uh, the one of the art classes that I have is engraving though, which is really fun. Getting to like uh, work on like little metal plates
Mm-hmm.
and engrave stuff. It's really cool. This is the only school I think in like either the country or like the world that gives a degree in engraving. So it's pretty cool to be a part of that.
Right. That's cool.
But other than that, that's the one I have to come in on. The other ones are just online through Canvas, and then sometimes we'll meet through Zoom. The one that also that I can meet for is algebra, but you don't even have to. You can just do the whole thing online.
Right. But you could go in if you needed like extra help or something.
Yeah, so like I was saying, last semester I withdrew because I'm not vibing with online, and then I come to learn I'm pretty much just still doing online,
Right. So are you vibing?
which is good for COVID.
Are you vibing right now?
I mean, like I'm doing all right, getting behind in a couple of my classes, but I'll just have to pull through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
How come you're going behind?
probably be honestly because of the format. It's not helping me. I had a meme that I made on my meme page that described it perfectly about how uh, I don't like learn very well with like online stuff. The format just is a hindrance to me. Uh, it's not something that helps me. I get much better results from being in person, but also I'm a procrastinator. I mean, I can't just blame it on everything else.
Right.
And that kind of enables that as well, since you don't have to be face to face with your teacher, seeing them every day. You can just look at a software, like you can look at a screen on Canvas, and that's all
Care
there is for you.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that.
So to
That's
like
what some other
restate
people
my thing,
touched on.
it's definitely me being a procrastinator and not taking in information well that way, enabling me to do that worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So you're a little behind in classes, and that's a little bit due to COVID, a little bit due to you. Would you,
Yeah.
um, you want to talk about the election?
We can talk about it. Yeah. Um, I mean, take everything I say with a grain of salt, though. I'm not a huge politics buff, but I have some opinions. We can have a
Did
discussion about it.
Did you watch the election, the debate between Trump and Biden?
I actually did not.
Did you watch?
I may look up like a recording of it though to get some
Did
points.
Did you watch the one on between Trump and Hillary?
I think I did actually see a bit of that, not
You know, a
all
bit of
of it.
that.
Back then I did.
I don't understand how Trump went from this like actually like this guy who was making his points, right, and he was
Okay.
being kind of disrespectful at the same time, but that was
That's the way the Trump Meister rolls, brother.
exactly
Is disrespectful.
like he kind of brought his Twitter persona to the debate, and it was fine. This time it was a shouting match between him and Joe Biden and the fucking moderator.
Oh, hey, you're kind of cutting out a little bit.
Okay, I mean,
We're good.
it was just a big mess because all three of them were fighting, and it was Biden and the moderator making fun of Trump, and Trump being like, "You guys suck," and I don't know.
I didn't watch the actual debate, but I did see a meme where it was like them like fighting, but instead of their voices, it was that video where the dude's like, "Let's play Uno tonight." And he said, "I don't have Uno." Yes, you do have Uno. It came with the Xbox. And they're just screaming over each other.
Yeah, that's what
So
it
I guess I
is.
kind of got the
I
idea
mean,
of it, even though I didn't see it.
that happened for almost the entire debate. And you know what's interesting? It's really interesting. The
Yeah.
debate, the first debate between Trump and Hillary, both candidates started with opening speeches. In this debate, they didn't.
Okay.
And in the last debate, they were allowed 2 minutes to present themselves and be like, I'm excited for this debate. I respect my opponent.
Right.
And I am here to try to prove to the American people that I'm the worthy candidate. And so it was basically 2 minutes to talk about whatever the fuck you wanted. And
yeah, it's your
it was,
platform to make your points.
and so that's probably
Where you
kind of
go.
what Trump was expecting.
Right.
It was such a more civilized discussion because it was so much more like the moderator did, and the first question out of the moderator's mouth, fucking A, it was aggressive, dude.
Yeah.
It was worded in a way that made the president look bad. And Trump probably didn't like that this supposedly unbiased moderator was saying shit like that, right?
Exactly. Because, like, no matter what moderator you get, they're going to have some sort of affiliation. They're going to have their own agenda. They're going to have some kind of agenda. And they're going to want to ask certain kind of questions, right?
Right, I guess, but
so they can lean it one way or the other.
This guy was just a terrible pick. That first question is what ruined the whole debate. It set Trump.
What was the first question? Do you know?
It was, I can't remember exactly what he was accusing him of doing nothing about, but he was like, "You've done nothing about. You have no cohesive plan about this," and
so he was putting him down. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Just bringing up an issue and asking.
And he wasn't asking.
You're just saying, you don't do this. You don't do this.
He could have said, hey, what is your plan about this?
Yeah.
Right? But instead he said, you made no plan about this. And why is that?
Yeah.
That's
it's those little wordings where you can kind of work your own opinion into stuff.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. It seemed like a jab.
Yeah.
And it was just, honestly, it was, I felt it as super unwelcome. And like, dude, I don't know. I think that, and that, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
On episode 2, my friend Donovan, he's a very political person. He has a lot of strong ideas, and he likes to stick to his guns. And he
right. Okay.
Big fucking idiot. He what is it? He believes that as long as there's one side, there's never going to be a unifaceted society, right? There's always going to be two.
There's going to be division, two at least.
He insisted actually that it would be bifaceted, right?
Okay, only two.
Right? That there would always be two dominant groups, right? And then each facet might be like shattered into like a bunch of different like parts of the bigger like side, right?
Yeah, like it's a spectrum, but you got two main, ballparks.
Right. And it's like, so that's what he insists. Do you agree with that?
So is that just saying that he's saying that that's how the USA is going to be with the way that we're set up and we're never going to change? Or is he suggesting that like
kind of
human nature is always going to veer that way?
So the initial talk was about should the government teach students about politics, like in high school?
Okay.
Like, is it the burden of the government to educate the student populace about politics and be like, these are the people who are important right now. Here's why they're important.
Okay, so like
Right?
current politics, not just
Right.
like government history.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
And
that would definitely be a class that high school
he's
seniors at least should take.
and he said he disagreed because no matter where he brought up some evidence. He was like, I take a poli-sci class, and every time my libertarian teacher opens her mouth, somebody argues with the point she was trying to make, right?
Yeah.
And so there's always going to be somebody who is radical enough to raise their hand and argue.
Right.
It was
And sometimes that's the
point.
teacher, you know.
Right. And sometimes,
So-
sometimes that's the teacher. But the point is that there's always going to be somebody who's radical enough to argue in inappropriate settings.
Right.
Right. And I think that was his main point, and that's why he thinks the government shouldn't provide political information, because if the government missteps in its like presentation and it presents too much of one party or too much of the other party, or one party in such a bright light and the other in a negative light, then
Right.
it's kind of a problem. And I really think that it's a problem that I think it's an interesting kind of situation that teachers don't talk politics with students until they're not
Yeah.
their students anymore, because teachers might be the only educators of politics in the house, or in the house.
Yeah.
Some people, like their parents, just don't educate themselves and they vote party lines, right? And
Yeah.
but a teacher who is politically motivated, not motivated, but politically informed, may have more crucial information that may sway the other person from side to side. And it's like, the thing is about this information is it can't always be produced under the context of a math class.
Right. Yeah,
or
exactly.
An English class. Right? I fully understand the aspect of teachers not wanting to talk politics during class because it is not on base. That's perfectly fine. I would support that. I would never in that situation.
But if the class is politics class, you know,
right, then
like
the teacher
current
should
issues class.
Right, then the teacher could give an opinion as like an
Right.
example of how somebody should form a an answer.
Yeah. I'd say that it's more important to not instill a like knowledge of current events and current politics into the students in high school, but maybe create a yearning to figure that stuff out themselves or get interested in the politics, to understand that their vote matters and understand how important it is.
So I have a big question. How do you feel about like both presidential candidates being in their early to mid 70s?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel? Because let me tell you, let me tell you a story. I told the same story. I think I told the same story on episode 2. I think so.
Okay.
It's fresh in everybody's brain.
My brain's ready.
My grandpa died of cancer when he was like 74. You know why? Because my grandpa.
Oh, okay. You kind of cut out for a second.
Yeah, he smoked for 74 years.
Okay.
No, he did not 74. He died when he was 74, but he died. He smoked for the. He was 16 when he started.
Yeah.
He he smoked the day he died. I can guarantee you that. And
Like cigarettes?
yeah,
Okay.
it was that was his vice. And what is it? But the thing is that is not uncommon for people in their 70s to contract fatal heart disease or cancer, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of the
All right.
almost the ripe age for people to pass, I believe. I think
Okay, so you're saying that it's a negative thing, or it's not necessarily a good thing that our two top candidates are older because of like they're not at their best health right now. They may not be fit to take
they
on the job.
definitely aren't. If you
Yeah, definitely
compare
not.
if you compare Trump to how he behaved 4 years ago during the Clinton debates to now, it's like a completely different person.
Like even Obama, when he got done with his terms, like he looked 20 when he went in, and he looked like 104 when he went out.
Yeah,
Like even a young guy
it's
who goes in it's gonna drain them. And someone who's already at an older age, they may just not be up for the task. But also, I want to point out, I think the more important reason why someone of that age maybe isn't fit to be a leader like that is losing touch with, the youth of the country,
the
or
future of the country,
the future of the
right?
country, really, that too. Like Joe Biden like playing Despacito, was that a meme or was that real? Like, did somebody
I
put music over that, or is he really just that clueless?
I never saw it. I can't confirm anything, but that sounds hilarious.
I believe it happened 100%.
I
And
mean,
that
it's.
enough should show you that they're kind of disconnected.
I mean, it. They really are. Um, I think Trump stays in his lane though, and I think the
Yeah.
Democrats are really bad. You know why they're really bad about adapting their candidates to like younger people's culture?
What is that?
Because all their candidates are fucking old, dude. Because
It's true.
literally
It's
all of
true.
them are so old. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
very true.
Joe Biden beat Pete Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris. I think there's another like three. I can't remember their names. All of
It's
them.
just old people.
A minimum of 10 years younger than Biden. And it's like, how are none of these people more fit than this guy to run a country? This guy
Yeah, we
should
need
be
a younger person.
retired, not taking on the most stressful job any one person can have in the entire world.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you on this point. Yeah. I think that it's a better idea to have someone who's like 40 or 50, not
yeah.
in their mid 70s.
Bernie Sanders is even older, dude.
That's true.
I heard a story. He fell in the shower one day and
He break his hip? Oh no.
and he like had to cancel an event because he fell in the shower, and I feel so bad for laughing now, but
It's okay, you can laugh.
it was like, why are you running for politics? Like, it's
He's not
just
running anywhere after that fall.
I understand. I think I get Bernie. I think Bernie's like a genuinely like he wants to do stuff like
Yeah,
all the time.
definitely. Like,
But
have you seen the like pictures of him as a young man, like in like the 60s?
yeah,
Like,
because he
civil
was
rights
like an
stuff with,
activist, right?
yeah, it was like, it's really emotional to see some of those photos where he's like really giving his emotion. He's like, I'm protesting this. I'm gonna do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
He's still old though.
yeah. I mean, but I think he serves best in his role as a congressman.
Fair.
I think, or a senator. I would say he would be a good senator.
So
because,
speaking of like where people are and where they fit, Ruth, right? Dying out of the Supreme Court. we're going to get someone new in. Do you think that that plays into who should be elected now because of who is going to be the one appointing that
You know what?
judge?
I was watching the debate, and Trump made a weird point that kind of made him seem like he was making like a good argument. He's like, it doesn't really matter the outcome of the election because no matter what, Trump is still president, and there's like this time for like months where Biden still isn't president even though he won the election.
So Trump can appoint anyone.
So Trump can appoint anyone because it's like, dude, you want to wait months to do this when I can do this now?
Exactly.
Like, no, fuck that.
People are going to be so mad when he does. Whoever that person is that gets appointed, I'm so sorry for them. They're like going to get shot outside of an Arby's or something because people are going to hate them.
And I'm sorry. I think, what was your question? I think I just started talking about the debate.
No, yeah, that's what I was talking about if that plays into who you think should be elected.
Yeah.
The appointing. But you said basically, it doesn't matter. Trump's going to do it anyway, even if you don't want him to.
I think
he probably will. That's a Trump move.
I think it's a good point that he makes. The only thing that I hate about it is that they told the Democrats that they couldn't do it a while ago for Anthony, I think, Scaramucci, I think. I'm not sure if that's his name, but
I don't know.
I think so. But when that Republican Supreme Court justice died, and the Democrats held the White House, and the White House was trying to appoint someone, but it was farther from an election than we are now, first of all, and so farther from the end of the president's term than we are now. The Republicans still said, pump the brakes. There's an election coming up. Your views may not. This is the weakest argument you can make. Your views might not line up with the American people's anymore.
Yeah. I think whoever's in that situation, whoever's not on top in the White House is going to be like, whoa, give us a chance to get more power.
It's like, what are you talking about? We were elected for this amount of time. It doesn't matter what the will of the American people, like, it doesn't, I mean, it does and it doesn't. I disagree with
Nobody take that out of context.
I agree and I don't, because I disagree.
The will of the American people does not matter.
I disagree with the election happening and then the president staying in office for months after the election actually takes place, and the president has to like wait to actually take office, right? The president-elect has to wait to become the president, right? I absolutely abhor that, right? Like, it sucks.
You should be just same day.
After you win, you should be able to, by the end of the week, sleep in the White House after you win. Right? Okay. That's my opinion.
Because we voted them in.
If the results are announced on a Sunday night, they got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to do it, to move all their shit out. Friday and Saturday, clean the house. Sunday, you start moving in.
Yeah.
That's literally, that's how it should be.
It went a little differently for Trump, though, since his house was, more expensive than the White House already.
Right, and he already had better chefs who were serving him better food that he liked more, and he had a better lifestyle.
That's just how rich he is. White House, nah, no thanks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, right now, it's so inefficient. I think the only good thing about the federal government I think the only good thing about the federal government is the Electoral College.
Okay. Yeah, a
Which,
lot of people hate that.
yeah, a lot of
I feel
people
like they don't
dislike it. My
understand
mom
it.
hates the Electoral College. My grandma, she was a huge Hillary supporter. She's voting for Biden. She didn't tell me that. She didn't disclose that to me. It's a guess.
You
But
just know
I
because they're
know
like
she's voting for, if she chooses to
they are
vote, which
subscribed
she
to
will choose to
Democrats.
vote. She will vote because, yeah, she votes party line.
Okay.
And she probably appreciates Kamala Harris being the vice president, the first female vice president in history, by the way. That's kind of a big thing. And guess what?
Yeah, it is.
It was made as a fucking point to get elected.
Yeah.
Isn't that demeaning? Isn't that demeaning to the whole fucking thing? That's another tangent. That's another tangent.
Yeah. So like you got to be careful saying that though, because that's like taking away from any value that she may have. You know, it's just like if it's completely obvious that she's not the top pick for the job and she's still chosen, then maybe you can, you know, like speculate and stuff. But I don't really know. I've been like
Well,
seeing everybody that he
here's the
could have
thing.
picked and all of that stuff.
Here's the thing. Every Republican, and it doesn't matter who wins or loses, every Republican would want Trump Pence over Biden and Harris. And, or maybe not every Republican, but Trump's base would always want Pence to do it. And so it's really hard. It's such a subjective job, like how you do it, because you can do it your way, right? Or your party's way, right? And then you have this other party that will always disagree with the way you do it, right? And so,
it's dividing.
honestly, whatever you do, somebody's going to disagree with it. So it's really hard to kind of say what is a good vice president, right?
Right.
Like, I guess a good vice president would be active. A good vice president would be like actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is the only thing that I think the vice president does is if the Senate hits a 25-25 or a 50-50 like tie,
You flip a
then
coin.
then the what is it? The vice president makes the decision, right?
Yeah, I meant the vice flips a
Yeah.
coin for them.
Right. And so it's like, I don't know how you can be a good VP. I absolutely abhor that it was made a selling point of Biden's campaign.
It's like, ooh, look, it's a woman.
Like, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I really think that Kamala Harris is a good pick. I don't think that it should have been announced that she was female before she was announced. I think it should have just been how you introduce a man. You know, like you wouldn't say, "Oh, my running mate is definitely a man." Like nobody gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you say, "Oh, my running mate's a woman." Suddenly, you're publicizing this point. You're virtue signaling now, right?
Yeah.
Because you're trying
calling attention
yeah,
to their gender because it's a selling point for you.
right. And that's so blatantly obvious. It's like okay, you pick Kamala Harris. All right, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
at least it's not Elizabeth Warren because she's like 60. She's like the same age as Biden. It's wild. Imagine. I think that Trump is the only person who could survive another 4 years in office. I think
He's
that
just built different.
if Biden wins, Kamala Harris may have to step in at some point. And I think that I don't think that she would do a terrible job. I don't think she would do a terrible job. I think that she would definitely have to deal with a lot of flack because first off, she would be like the first unelected president in a long time.
And the first female president is appointed, not elected.
Yeah, and so it would be a really weird situation to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel that she would have to. I feel that because she would have to navigate all that, her presidency would be kind of not really fruitful. I feel like it would kind of be like a coasting period for a long time, and that a lot of industries might pull out of the U.S. for a little bit and kind of watch how everything's doing. And when they see that everything doesn't really go to shit because the president has to walk on eggshells because they're not an elected official anymore. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris to be president, right?
Right.
So you have obviously she's under a lot of scrutiny, and I think that would like lock her away from making bad decisions, and I think that's why she would like at least be able to carry the country until the next election.
She would keep us afloat for a little while longer.
Yeah, I think so. But I feel like if I endorse that route, then I'm endorsing the execution of Joe Biden via stress. You
Rocket
know
launcher from like the second story of the building across from the White House.
No, dude, it's just like Joe. Like if I don't want to agree with Joe Biden having to like literally have to step down because the presidency has affected his health so much that he literally fails.
He's already a little senile. I'm sure just a little bit of time in office and just push him right over that edge.
Can you imagine? You say he's already senile. I hate
According
that.
According to the memes, not to me researching.
He seemed pretty put together. He started despite him calling Trump a clown and I think a racist.
I didn't even tell him to shut up too.
Yeah, and he told him to shut up. And then there was
I'm sure he was spouting something off though.
In spite of all, Trump would not stop talking.
Yeah.
But
so understandable.
In spite of all that happened after he started it by saying, "What's up, man?" to Trump. He said that, and I heard that, and I was like, you know what? That is how they started the first debate with Hillary.
Shake the hands.
They shook hands. There was pleasantries. When Hillary started her fucking speech, she said, "It's good to see you, Donald."
Yeah. But this time it was just, bare knuckle brawl, cage match, go.
2v1, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It was rough. I don't know how we got back on the debate, dude.
Yeah.
Everything circles back. So you're an artist. I don't know, dude. I don't keep time.
What time is it?
I feel like it's disingenuous. I feel you're an artist. Rate my art.
Oh, rate your art. Okay. Let me give you a chance to become unfrozen. Is that an F in like perspective, 2 point?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Try Try doing more exercises like that where you move it up on the point, like on the line or like above it or below it completely.
Yeah, look at this one.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, like architecture type stuff.
Dude, that's a 3-point perspective trapezoid.
Yeah.
The hardest shape I have ever drawn.
That's fair.
Because you have to draw two triangles as well.
Yeah, true.
All right. So, in your art, what's your goal? You said you wanted to freelance, or that's what most people do, and you figured that's what you were gonna do. Yeah.
What most people do for like their income is for as a graphic designer is have a salary job at a company,
Mm-hmm.
and then they also do freelance. But I was saying I would have the plan of like if it goes perfectly, which life usually has a way of changing things over time. But the plan would be to have the salary job if I could find something in graphic design, and then instead of freelancing for money, I would do like gigs or like writing music, stuff like that. Be a musician on the side.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
sounds like a good plan. Well, Dawson, it's been a lot of fun having you on tonight.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Um. Last thing, have you got anything
Right.
fun going on?
Have I got anything fun going on?
Like soon?
Man, I'm pretty like bored lately. With COVID and stuff, I'm in my room. My roommate's not usually here. I'm usually alone, or I'm with my girlfriend and her roommate. That's it.
Say, come on, you seen
Like day in and day out, not doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
you seen the first podcast? Don't know if you seen the second one. You know what they said?
What do they say? What do they have
Come
going
on,
on?
dude. Come on, dude.
What did they say
Never
at
mind.
the end?
So I was like, it could be if you just want to do your girl. And so they're like, all right, that's what I'm doing. And that could be your best thing coming up. Gee, I don't know.
Probably.
Probably. All right.
Yeah. That's fair.